place. This is the Unlocking Business Success with Data, a Databricks webinar that is hosted by the team from Centrilogic. My name is Peter van der Zijl, so I'm a client director with Centrilogic, and I'll be your host today. My history is that I'm obviously not from here, so I'm from New Zealand, and but I spent a lot of time in and around the Microsoft ecosystem. I'm joined today by Jeff Zato, who's going to be helping out with the polls and will be watching the chat for questions. We have an intimate audience today, so please feel free to make this interactive. It's an opportunity to interact with Victor, who is one of our data engineers and an expert, but I'll just pass it over to him to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, I'm Victor, data engineer at Centrilogic. I've been working with data for the past 10 years now. Actually, the anniversary is this month. I've already worked as BI developer, data analyst, data engineer, and as data scientist as well. So we can cover many questions if you have. We can go through. We're going to talk a little bit about data as like the whole concept of it and how it can help all companies achieving their goals. And also we have a demo at the end that we're going to show you a little bit on how Databricks can help you in that journey.
Amazing. Yeah, so Victor really is an expert in the area of data and Databricks in particular. So please feel free to ask any questions along the way if you would like. Victor, do you want to go to the next slide, please? Okay, so before we get into the core content, I did want to introduce Centrilogic. So Centrilogic is a business that has been around for about 17 years. Got about 650 customers, so a pretty good track record. And we actually operate not only in Canada, but in the US and the UK as well. And we specialize in helping customers with managing and transforming their IT environments. So as you can see on the slide, we start with everything from strategic advisory, helping customers determine what their next step might be in the cloud or their digital transformation. We can develop applications, host applications. We manage both public and private clouds and core infrastructure. And we can manage, connectivity, security, compliance, and then, manage environments as well. So, offer managed services. So in short, we have the ability to manage IT environments for customers, but the focus of the session today will all be around our data and AI practice, which is focused around, the Microsoft tools, but we also have capability in and around Oracle, and then tools that sit in and around these environments and manage them like Databricks. If you want to go to the next slide. Excellent. So Victor and I spend most of our time working with the Centrilogic Microsoft Business Group. So the Microsoft Business Group works with mostly what we would call mid-market and enterprise customers, and it's a group of high-end consultants that work, with the Microsoft stack, also Databricks. In fact, the Microsoft Business Group has been working with Azure from the very early days and are well known around the Microsoft ecosystem as experts in Azure. So we offer skills around the full stack, so application development, cloud infrastructure, advisory. And again, today we're going to go into a bit more detail on data and our capability there. We also have added some capability around AI, so specifically Microsoft Copilot and Azure OpenAI. So that's been added to our team recently. And also to say that the Microsoft Business Group is flexible in how we engage with customers. We can engage as a staff augmentation. We can do project delivery, so we have teams actually delivering full solutions for customers. We can help out with training and knowledge transfer and that sort of thing. And then, of course, we can manage customer environments as well. It's almost like we planned this, Victor. So, sorry, if you want to go back to the previous slide. So also to say that Centrilogic has been a strong Microsoft partner for over 15 years. We have deep relationships with the Microsoft sales and technical teams, and a strong track record of excellence in delivery, and particularly Microsoft and Databricks as well. We have a number of partner designations and advanced specializations, which mean that we have deep expertise in data and AI. So these designations and certifications give you the confidence that we have the expertise and experience in these specific solution areas, and they also give us access to Microsoft programs and funding that not all partners have access to. We have, again, deep integration with the product teams, the sales teams, and all those folks working with customers on the Microsoft side as well. So if you go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is the all-important logo slide. So, we have worked with a lot of large and also not so large customers. I work specifically with TD and Scotia, but we and just to say that we can help customers by enabling them, so helping them with their cloud adoption, building enterprise and customer access and managing their data. But also in the new world of Centrilogic, we also have the ability to manage customer environments. So application management, managed platform and infrastructure, issue problem resolution, managed security and end user support. So that end-to-end view. So I'm working with a customer right now out in Western Canada, where we manage their cloud environment. So we manage their Azure environment for them. But also, if there is an issue with that Azure environment, we have teams that will come in and support that environment, remediate it. We're also working with them on optimizing it. So we can build and manage build environments, but also manage them as well. If we want to go to the next slide. So just a couple of examples of customers that we've worked with in the data world. So the Halifax Port Authority, a pretty large organization. They have about 1,500 ships that come out in and out of that port from 150 countries, every year. And we actually help them with their data strategy, governance, architecture, engineering, and analytics, and master data management, and gave them, dashboards where they can actually really manage their customer environment, provide, better customer satisfaction, and most importantly, make decisions, very quickly around the business. And they didn't have the ability to do that before. And then the Ontario Securities Commission. So again, we did a pretty comprehensive piece of work for them: data requisition, consumption, governance, lifecycle management. I mean, there's a lot to setting up and managing data environments, and we have a great track record of doing this. And we can also help customers present this data in a very manageable way, be it Power BI or one of the other data visualization tools. If we go to the next slide. And then finally, just before we get into some of the technical content, I wanted to talk about some of the business challenges related to managing and using data efficiently. So these are some of the things that your customers, so the business people, might be thinking about. So data quality, ensuring data is accurate, complete, and consistent. And look, poor data quality can mean that the business isn't getting the insights that they need, and can lead to decisions that may not be optimal. Data integration, combining data from various sources and formats, particularly if you're acquiring companies or adding new business lines and all that sort of thing. And this can often result in data silos, and where information is isolated and isn't available to make those business decisions. Data security and privacy. Protecting data from breaches, ensuring compliance. Breaches. Any business person will want to make sure that their data is secure. It's the lifeblood of business, but also making sure that it's compliant. So GDPR regulates the way you work with private data. So that's critical. And as data volumes grow, the risks associated with data breaches and unauthorized access grow as well. So that's really important, and we can help with that. Data governance, again, very important. Establishing policies and procedures for data management to ensure that only the people that need access to that data have access to that data, and when they don't need it anymore, maybe that access, gets taken away. So, it's very challenging to set up data governance environments, but critical that you get that right from the start. Scalability. Again, in the cloud, we've solved some of this, but traditional, data management approaches kind of struggle to handle the increasing volumes. There's, massive amounts of data being created every day in this new sort of digital world. So, the latest tools actually help us to manage that. Talent shortage. I don't want to talk about this. So, there's a really high demand for skilled data professionals. So it's really good that you're coming to this event and getting upskilled. And it often outpaces supply. So, good for folks on the phone. Challenging when you're working in data environments to get access to these, those talented skills. But definitely, something that you should be thinking about, and constantly making sure that you're keeping your skills up to date, and then hiring in professionals like Centrilogic where you don't have the skills to augment and help upskill over time. And then obviously, cost and complexity. So, managing infrastructure can be expensive and complex, and so as a result, people are looking for some of these newer environments where maybe a cloud provider is managing all that infrastructure and allowing you to get these environments set up a lot more quickly. So, at the end of the day, if you can manage and present data efficiently, it's going to make the business run more effectively, save costs, grow revenue, increase customer satisfaction, all the great things that organizations are looking for, which is ultimately better for everyone. Okay, so if we go to the agenda, and we just look at the webinar highlights for today. So we're going to focus on data-driven approaches. So, how data can be used for the aforementioned sort of business outcomes to drive and explore the benefits of data-driven decision-making. Building a strong data foundation, making sure again that you've got that foundation set up so that you can get access to data at the right time. And then, Victor, will provide an introduction to Databricks, which is a great tool for managing those cloud environments and providing insight. So, Jeff, did we have any polls that you wanted to share from the team before we get into the content?
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, so for everyone attending, if you can go to the chat window and you'll see a link in there to sort of a poll. So we just ask a couple quick questions to understand a bit about the audience, what your role is, what cloud you're in, sort of where you are in sort of your data usage. And this really helps our presenters, specifically Victor, be able to cater the stories and sort of the dialogue and stuff like that to you guys. And then there'll be one at the very end that I'll post 10 minutes before the end. It's really important to fill that out. That gives our presenters great feedback and the team in behind supporting them on what we can change, what we can do. If you want a copy of the slide deck or a copy of the recording, that's where you can request it. So if you could go to the chat window right now, and I'm going to open 3 separate sort of polls and just give that feedback to the team. And then I promise we'll get started within 2 minutes if you answer the questions quick.
Yeah, and again, we do have a fairly intimate audience today. So, during the presentation, let's make this interactive. This is all about, learning together, asking questions maybe that are specific to your environment. So, at any time, feel free to type into the chat if you want, or you're also welcome to come off mute and ask questions, during the presentation.
So on the first poll question, Peter, it was about their role in the organization, asking if they're development management, DBA, data engineer, and the majority of people said other. So it would be really great, since we didn't capture exactly your specific role, if in the chat window you could just type what your role is, because that would sort of help us understand. I'm going to stop that one and just open up the the next poll. Okay,
Excellent.
so the next one is just about what is your primary cloud, just so we understand who we're speaking to. So that poll is now open. So the same link.
And if you're not using the cloud today, we can help with that too. We're very good at setting up cloud environments, landing zones, helping you manage and govern those as well.
Awesome. Okay, let's see what the answers are coming in on that one. Okay, so we're looking like the majority of people are in Microsoft Azure, which is something near and dear to many of us here. Awesome. And the one last question before we get started, I'm just going to open up that poll. And this is more about understanding sort of where your organization is at from the standpoint of sort of maturity with data. And I promise this is the last one until the final survey.
And look, this is all really useful for us in terms of how we tailor the content, to the audience. So we really appreciate you giving these answers.
Okay, so we're pretty much in the center on this one. No one sort of, I'll call it at the highest level, which isn't sort of surprising, as there's always more to do, when we look at automation and frameworks and stuff. So most of the people are sitting in a 1 to 2 level on this from a maturity standpoint, 0 being the lowest. So some experience, probably still a lot of silos and frequent last requests for information, but trying to improve. Okay. Victor, over to you, and everyone, thank you for your feedback, and I'll post the final survey 10 minutes before the end. Take it away.
Amazing. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Peter. So I'm going to start talking a little bit about what is data, right? And the difference between data, information, and knowledge. So data would be like the raw records that you receive. They are unorganized. Sometimes they come in different formats, right? So now that we have like SQL databases, we have non-SQL databases. Sometimes we have to analyze images, for example. So we receive those records and data in the raw format, and then we need to transform, and we need to work a little bit on that data. We need to process in order to become an information that is useful for the client, to the business, right, to the recipient. And once we add context to that information, then we have knowledge. And that process basically stays as the foundation of data engineering, data science. We always have new data sources, and we have to work the raw data. We have to process, enhance that data. So we have the correct, we have to clean that data as well. So we have the correct information stored. And then we apply the context, and we have the knowledge that we understand the information. And now we can make the correct decision based on that information that we just got. And why this approach, why this data-driven approach matters? Basically, we are in a world that you have fast-paced changes, right? And it's very competitive environment. And if you don't have that data as soon as possible, you probably make the wrong decision in the wrong time. If you have the data available like the next day or the next 5 minutes, it could really change the course of the decision that you make based on that information. If you're trying to innovate, enhance your process, enhance your business, you need to have data-driven decisions. I remember some customers that, like, the person worked for 20 years in the same role. She had that baggage, right? She knew what she was doing, but the customers changed their behavior. So we had to prove, actually based on data, that the customer changed the way the pattern that they had. And it was a shock. The first meeting was not good. The second was a little bit better. But if you're driving your company through innovation and keeping up with all the changes, you need to have this fast-paced knowledge coming to you, right? And also, you enhancing customer experience, right? You need to improve your customer satisfaction and loyalty, and you can't wait a week to solve a problem that your customer had. You can wait like 1 month. You need to solve it at the moment he had that problem, and identify that, record that uh, quality problem, for example, and then you work on that so we can improve that faster, make fast decisions. And of course, boosting operational efficiency. Even like if you're working in an industry sector and you have some problem with your production, for example, you can identify that fast and work in maintenance, for example, to mitigate any problems with your product. Another way that sometimes people don't realize that data is used is sports, right? Everybody loves at least one sport: soccer, football, basketball. Myself, I love Formula One. I'll have more examples from Formula One, but I won't show them all here. We have on-field data analytics, for example, player performance metrics. You can change your strategy based on if you have enough data on the other team. You can change your strategy on field. Uh, Also, the team also has the marketing team, right? So you can analyze fan engagement, revenue generation, the player contract based on what is the revenue he's bringing, and also broadcasting and media. Can analyze how many are not going to the stadium, for example, but are also supporting the teams. Um, I will bring one example in Formula One about that data, information, and knowledge. The car has a lot of sensors in it, like hundreds of sensors, and depending on what's happening, like even the driver has to ask the team what's happening with my brakes, what's happening with my suspension, and they receive that data almost near time for strategy, for example, to change the tire. They can use a different strategy based on machine learning models that they receive the data from the track. The machine learning model runs and spits them. Okay, you need 2 more laps to change your tires, for example. So data analytics, it's being used in a lot of sectors and should be used once you start using like getting data, working on that data and getting insights. Then you see that the results will be totally different than not using it. The other benefits about the data-driven approaches, um, the insights that business has analyzing the behavior, sales trends, and key metrics will help you get ahead of your competition. If you have the correct information, if you don't have bad data, as Peter mentioned, like data quality is very important. Uh, to work on that, if you have bad data, you need to work to improve the quality of that data, even if it's talking to maybe the source system, or you need to do some tweaks during processing that data so you can stay ahead of your competition. Customer experience always ahead, and data-driven approaches, it's key to increase the customer experience, to improve the customer experience. And operational efficiency, we identify inefficiencies, you can reduce cost and streamline process. But if you don't have a strong foundation, if you don't have a platform to help you do that, it's not going to be as effective as you may think. So that's where we can help you. With that, we go from advisory and to building all the platform and managing the platform for you. But like, if you don't work on that foundation, like from every building, for example, if you don't work on the foundation, the building will crackle, right? And it will fall. So it's very important to enable all the development and all the improvements that technology have and will have in the future. Um, Also, we build the platform also thinking about the future, right? New enhancements. And I'm going to talk about that in Databricks. One of the reasons that we represent Databricks because they identify new trends and also can work fast to develop new features for us that use the platform to actually get ahead on data analysis and machine learning. Um, and to get to that point, you can actually have a data platform serving you with a high quality data. It's a journey, right? You need to identify your current state, even if it's application or just data state, and you're going to improve step by step. You have data migration, data modernization, you have advanced analytics, and then data intelligence that also includes AI and machine learning. And it's kind of some companies want to try to jump ahead. They don't have data modernization and they just want to AI because it's the new trend. And we try to explain to our customers that we once we have the platform, then we can go and create a advanced analytics, and then we can get to AI and ML. But it's a journey that every company needs to go through, and then you unlock like the data intelligence. You can achieve all those points about customers, operation, and products. Also about specifically about data strategy maturity, and that's about the pool that Jeff shared with you. We have some steps here until we get to the automated decision support platform. That is the goal, right? That is where we see most value. But we can also see the value increase as we improve and as we go through this journey, right? When we start as like non-analytics and no AI, we have some basic reporting, some insights that are delivered through third-party systems. So you get a report from your ERP, for example, but it's ready. You cannot change it. You just get the data and work to your best to get the knowledge on that. Once you get to business intelligence and reporting is the first step. Now you can work your data and know exactly what happened, right? You can use an historical reporting, analytics, and create insights based on that. Once you improve that, you can get to advanced analytics, where you can diagnose what happened, not only what happened, why happened, so it doesn't happen again, right? You can work on that. When we get to the advanced analytics with statistics and cognitive AI, that's where, for me, for example, why I decided to go through the data scientist path. Then you can get to predictive and cognitive analysis. So you try to predict what's going to happen based on historical data, and goes like even like ChatGPT, it's a LLM model. He started as a predictive model. He tried to predict what the next word is, right? But you can go like the next revenue for the next 3 months. What's going to happen to that customer if I send him this 12 emails, for example, trying to reach that. Some examples. So what will happen based on historical information. And then we go to prescriptive. And what should we do based on that, right? So each of those questions that you answered, you unlock the next one, and you work on that until you get to the automated decision support platforms. That is the most advanced way of data analytics that we have now. Once you get to the platform that you get, for example, the prescriptive analytics, for example, you're at the point that you can leverage a lot of value from your data platform, right? You're efficient. If you have efficient data management, that will help you with data quality, data integrity, and data security as well. You can scale your business now, so get new customers, get new vendors, like a new data source based on the new project that you have. So you can quickly change, you can quickly add that and make part of your ecosystem. And as I mentioned, data security and compliance. If your data platform does not have that in mind, you at risk of getting your data leaked or your customer list or something like that. It's crucial to have that security and compliance in mind while having a data platform. And now a little bit of the platform that we're going to show, Databricks. Uh, Databricks is a data and AI platform, is leading in the market. It has all the features to help you since the ingestion of data. They have connectors. They have the lakehouse structure, so they work with Delta tables, and they go all the way through reporting. They connect with any other platform that you want to, like platform visualization platform, and then run machine learning models, and you can use to inference new predictions online. So I'll show you that on my demo, and gives you all the capabilities to do all that work. And as I mentioned, they are constantly enhancing the platform. Actually, I'm going to show you, I had some problems today to get the demo running because they changed something on the clusters, but it was recent, and the demo I had to work a little bit to get back on track. But it was always improving and making our life better on that matter. Since we're going to the demo, Jeff, do you want to go through the other poll?
Sorry, it was just unmuting. Yes, I will post the other poll question and make it active. It's the same link, but I'll post that up to the chat group. And if you guys can start to fill that in while you're listening to the great wisdom of Victor, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Any questions so far? Any concerns?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Before we get into the demo, any questions or anything that folks wanted to share? I think they've all been waiting for the demo anyway, Victor.
Okay, let's go to the demo. I'll just change here. So I'll start specific on the job workflow tab, right? So this is Databricks. We have an environment here, so we can play like a sandbox. Can you, like, the size is good? Do you want me to zoom, or it's okay?
It's good. We can see it.
Okay. So basically, Databricks has a workspace that's where you have you can create your notebooks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with notebooks, but basically it's a space that you can write your code, and you can actually run your code in that notebook. I'm going to show you some examples here. We have the data catalog that uses the Unity catalog that's specific for Databricks, that shows you like the lineage for the tables. You can create multiple catalogs that helps you organize your data based on source, based on, for example, we use the medallion architecture, so we can have different catalogs for each of the medallion architecture. We have the workflows. That is what the tab that I have here. I have one workflow that I'm going to show you. It's basically the data pipeline that we create multiple tasks, and then we can schedule them to run, and we can actually have for example, a dependency. So that task will only run if the previous one succeeded, and they're improving that like every week, and it's really cool to see how far we got. And the compute actually, it's where you select your cluster size, you have your policies on the clusters. So you have data engineer, a policy that data engineers will have a cluster that has, I don't know, 16 gigs of RAM, 8 cores, and but the data scientists need more power, so they have 64 gigs of RAM. They have, I don't know, 20, 30 cores, and that you can have four clusters of that specification. So you create your policies around that. Um, to create the guardrails, right? So um, you basically don't spend too much on where you don't need. Basically, you have the pricing for Databricks is basically on the how much it runs the cluster for how long. You get charged by the hour. So when you're not using, why do you have the cluster up? So it doesn't make sense. So you can, or you don't need like a large cluster for a simple operation. So you just create a smaller cluster, and then you can reduce cost based on that. It has all the feature for SQL editor as well. You can create and save queries on your workspace. You create dashboards, and we're going through the dashboards that I got one for data quality. Genie is new. Actually, I never used Genie, but it's, let's say, cousin of Copilot, but Databricks version of it. Uh, I'm going to show a use case of the AI assistant that really helps with the development. Once you have your dashboards, you can create alerts. Like the dashboard came with a strange number. For example, the revenue is 0, or the revenue is like billions and it should be around millions, let's say. You can create alerts to identify that, so the data engineers can work on that. Uh, Delta Live tables is a great feature from Databricks that helps with all the pipelines. I don't have an example of Delta type Live tables, but it's basically creating the whole pipeline, and it will automatically update the data as soon as you get new data. It updates the final, your gold layer. And the machine learning, where you have the playground experiments. You have a feature store that's great for machine learning engineers. You can create your model, and you can serve your model through an API. And that's important. I don't have served as an API because it really pays by just becoming online. But we can get, like, if you need a model to be served online, you can have an API, and it just call the API, and you have the result for your model, right? So I'm going to show you the New York City taxi data. It's a public data set. You can find it online. We have some examples here in this data ingestion, right? So this is the workflow. You can add tags here. It's really good to have like this tag management. So you identify the what's if you have like a high cost on or something, you can identify using those tags, and you can actually have those tags send back to Azure. So you have one place to control. If you don't want to control here, if you want to manage in Azure, you can do that. So we have the schedule here. We have a folder created. As soon as a new file arrives, that it will trigger, but it's paused for now, just because of the test. And we have the tasks to actually get that ingestion all the way through training the model and creating a simple analysis as a data analyst would, or create even a report for that. just so you can see the notebook and the example for the ingestion. So we have here, we just import data. We set some widgets and checkpoints to save the data. And we go through our folder, right? We have the path for a folder. And we have a simple just casting the data because, as I mentioned, data integrity is important. And that specific file changes the schema every month. So I said, you guys don't like data engineers. And I just need to cast them as, just for this example, I just cast them as the specific types so I can get the demo running. And then I save it as append in the Delta table. I have the table destination mentioned here. And this is like a very, very simple ingestion. But gives the idea on how you can use Databricks to ingest that data. And also you can go through all the connectors that they have. So we have 5-trend connectors, ADP, like all these connectors work with Databricks. My example was just a simple folder that we had. For example, if you had Azure Data Factory getting some file from some API and then dumping in a storage account, then my code can run and get the data it can train the model based on new data, right? The next step is just getting to the silver transformation. So there are some record ID that need translate. And also there is like a lookup table. So just simple transformation here so we can get the data in the format that we need to the next step to create analysis or even create machine learning models based on this. The data analysis itself, so you can, as you saw, that you can work in SQL, you can work in Python or PySpark. Mostly we work in PySpark, but that really depends on the the technical knowledge of your team. You can work only in SQL because it does all the, let's say, translations that it needs to actually get running in Spark. But they run mostly Spark clusters. And I think I can get here one example of that AI. Oh, where is it? The assistant. It opens here. Where is it? Because I got an error here today. Yeah. It shows me here. I don't know. I thought it was an icon because when it get an error, it shows up the tab. Because I don't usually get that much errors. Not kidding. I do get a lot of errors, but it helps you understand what's happening. Like instead of you going to Stack Overflow, for example, it brings the answer to you and actually tells you how to solve it. So it's really cool for developers. And here is the notebook that actually trains the machine learning model. So a little bit of feature engineering. So fixing real time. Some data preparation, and then we have XGBoost regressor running. And every time I run this notebook, since I have the notebook, the cluster running, it will register my model here because it already has MLflow integrated with the notebook, right? So you have two versions here. This one we run in April, and now this one in November. And you can get the metrics and outputs that I got at that point, you can get the artifacts. Let's go to experiments. So all the runs that I did for that notebook, it registered through MLflow. So that's pretty cool for any data scientist from the old days that had to actually create, register, create all the metrics in the code. Databricks does it for you with MLflow and shows you like all the metrics that you need. Um, have system metrics. I just had the mean square error as an example. And once you have it, you can change the version. You can go back to previous versions. It's pretty cool. And then here, as I mentioned, you can create an endpoint, and then you can serve that as an API. And every time you call the API, you get your results from the prediction inference that you need. That's basically it. If you guys have any questions, anything that you want me to go through.
You were going to show, maybe talk about Genie a little bit as well. Maybe not show, but just talk about.
About what? Sorry, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get the error. We can make it. We can create an error. Let's do this. So if I have a typo here, and while it runs, I'll show you
the main point being though that we have Databricks have built AI into their tool.
Yeah, and
to help people get more value out of the tool and to be able to ask questions about how they integrate it more effectively, right?
Yeah, for example, like developers always have problem like writing descriptions and like.
Yeah.
So here's AI suggested description for this table, right?
Yeah.
I actually didn't create that. It AI generated. I can accept, and it will go to the metadata for that table. So just showing the data catalog, right? So the silver, yellow records that I created, you can see the column, the type, you can see the sample data. And one thing that is, I think is really cool that I like to show you, it's the lineage. So you can see every table and every notebook or workflow pipeline dashboard that is upstream or downstream, and you can even see as a graph, right? So
Amazing.
we have two source tables that create the silver yellow records, and then we have another table consuming data from this. So this helps a lot, like trying to get the lineage, where that data is coming from, where is the problem, right? If you have a problem on your dashboard and you need to go through all the way back to find the source, you can do this through the lineage, and it show like the column lineage. It's like crazy.
That's amazing when you're trying to track down data or find out where maybe data isn't as correct as it should be. So the Genie is very much like a co-pilot, like like in the Microsoft world they call it co-pilot.
Yeah. For example, I had an error here, and if I go diagnose error, so this is the tab that I mentioned.
Amazing.
You can see here also had the previous error that I had today. Like for some reason, my average was trying to divide by 0.
Right.
But then you can use try divide, and then you can just click fix my code, and it changes the whole cell for you with the actual change here. So it's telling me that should be X GB and X exactly. I deleted the G. So that's really cool how we identify. It really helps troubleshooting while you're developing new stuff, working with data, and really, really great.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you wanted to show, Victor?
Just one other thing on the catalog. Since
Amazing.
we have like the history, we have the lineage, we also have the data quality, that it creates a dashboard for you, with like the snapshot. Oh, the warehouse. Yeah, I'm using serverless, so it's just spinning up. It's way faster than the cluster, but still takes a bit to get all the data, because like the last time I saw is 1.2 million records, so it do take a little bit of time. No, 12 million. Sorry, wrong number. But then you can get like the data volume, the percentage of nulls, percentage of zeros. So you identify the actual column that has a lot of zeros. So, oh, it makes sense. So it's not a problem. No, it shouldn't be a lot of zeros here. You can create new views from this. So like data governance, so you can keep the data quality. It's amazing to have this tool, and it generated automatically. I can add more views if I want, but it's pretty complete. All the data quality reports that you would create, all the profiling you would create, they already have here for you. And since it's based a delta table based, we can have the history of that table as well, so we can travel time to see what data was like on version 2, on version 1, back in May when I ran that. We can go back and do a query based on that version, on that specific timestamp, and it shows you all the operational parameters that you had once you created that. If you have any partition. So it's pretty complete. They give you the metadata from all the tables, and really helps when you need to go through all that information to assess anything or troubleshoot anything.
Amazing tools for managing your data environment, right? Like in the like just the way you through your serverless environment spun up infrastructure and did analysis very quickly. I mean, it's amazing to think of how far we've come just over the last few years.
Yeah, and the one new feature that they have, let me use this as an example. Before you had to create your own cluster, you have your policies around it, of course, but now you can also use serverless. So it's cheaper to do if you need a quick analysis, if you need a quick run, for example. You don't need to spin up your own cluster. That will take a little time to spin that cluster, and then you can do analysis, and then that cluster stays on for 15 minutes or 1 hour, depending on the policy that you applied. But now you can go serverless. So it reduces the time, the waiting time for that. It reduces the setup time to any analysis that you need, just like quick analysis, for example. So it's pretty cool how they're developing.
So just kind of leveraging core infrastructure rather than setting up environments. I think Ricardo has a question.
Yes, just a comment on the serverless. While it's very cool to get started, we are just receiving notifications from Microsoft on that they're going to start charging for certain things. So just be aware of, like, yes, it's serverless, but now they're charging for things like public connectivity to resources over NAT gateway, data transfers, and private connectivities with private links. So it seems like they did a period of time where serverless was free, or not free, but really consumption based, and you do your thing. But now they're notifying people that as early as December 4th, they're going to start introducing some changes to the billing. So just do your homework on what it is. I just figured that since it was mentioned, it was good to bring
that's
that to
it.
their attention.
That's a great insight. And again, that's one of the the benefits of working with an organization like Centrilogic is that we're working in these environments, with this technology across multiple customers and constantly talking to Microsoft about these things because the cloud is moving so quickly that having access to experts that are on top of this, from a technology but also a business and optimization perspective is huge. Now, Jeff, did you have another poll that you wanted to conduct towards the end? I'm just conscious that we're almost at time.
I've already posted it and people have already started responding to it. So I think we're great.
Amazing. Victor, that was incredible. Fantastic presentation and demo. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all of you who joined. Again, feel free to reach out to the folks on this call, Victor, myself, Ricardo. We've got Jeff, Denise, Giselle, all on the call from the Centrilogic side, who will be happy to help you and answer any questions. But this is an area of expertise for us, one where we're happy to dig in and help customers with. So with that, just thank you very much. Thank you so much, Victor. That was amazing. And I guess we will end the webinar.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks, Peter, for the support. Thanks, Denise. And see you soon.